Retired EV batteries still hold 70 to 80% capacity, unusable for vehicles but valuable for storage. Rebaba has built a battery-agnostic platform that turns mixed battery types from multiple manufacturers into grid-scale energy storage systems. Paula, 5 years ago, hardly anyone talked about reusing old electric car batteries. What's changed that suddenly made this possible and even profitable?
First of all, it's the EV market fleet that's been starting to mature. So we're seeing more and more batteries coming out on the reusable battery market. So we actually have like huge volumes to source already today. And if we look at 2028, we're going to have so many that we don't need to produce any new batteries for stationary storage if we just get smart and good at actually reusing the ones we already have. And then profitable part is we've seen some different technologies on how to do the upcycling and some different strategies if you team up with one car battery manufacturer or if you go to the more agnostic side, which we're going.
Well, most companies in this space work with just one or two car makers. You decided to build a system that can handle batteries from more than 40 different models. Why was that so important?
That's like one of our three big bets, I'd say, because we've seen some companies teaming up with car manufacturers, and in some cases that hasn't turned out so well because either you get tied up into really expensive offtake agreements for many years, or you might actually get cut from the supply, and then you have a full system designed for a battery that you can't source.
You've built what you call circular hubs, small local workshops instead of huge factories. How does that change the way you grow and produce these storage systems?
So that's the second bet, to actually scale in a lean way. So we usually say we don't need gigafactories because all we need is a workshop with electricians, and that you can find anywhere in the world. So already like this summer, we moved into our first circular hub outside of Stockholm, and that cost us like nothing to build the hub because it was already there, and we can already produce 40 megawatt hours yearly. So it's such a simple way to just get started. And then we have the batteries lying around everywhere around us at car dismantlers, recyclers, the car manufacturers, car distributors. And then we just use that. And our upcycling technology is very efficient both in the hardware and the software layer.
Well, every used battery has its own wear and tear. How do you make sure they still perform safely and reliably when you reuse them?
So we test all the batteries before we buy them. We can actually do that with the same control unit that is the one that unlocks these 40 different types. So we're collaborating with our partners, and we can test with this, we call it the Rebaba brain, the control unit at their site. And then we know the state of health and how the battery feels, basically. And then we can use it in our systems, and we have different safety layers in the hardware and software to build a safe product.
Can you give us an example of a technical problem your team solved, something that helped you stand out from competitors?
Looking at the supply part, our suppliers really prefer like an all-leader solution because they have batteries that look very different at their sites, and they have no clue what to do with them, basically. And then on the customer side, we're service stacking. So we're building these into turnkey like energy storage systems, and we're adding an inverter, we're adding smartness that can, like an AI energy management system, so it helps the customer to actually use it behind the meter, as you say, so at their own site. So it can be an industry or building or EV chargers, so it can help them like expand faster, save a lot of money on their electricity bills, but you can actually also make money by supporting the grid with balance.
New, cheaper batteries from China are flooding the market. How do you stay competitive while sticking to your mission of reuse and circularity?
That's the most important question for us, because we don't believe in green premiums. We're building this with a super efficient upcycling technology, both in the hardware and in the software that can handle all these types. So we're getting very low sourcing costs, and the hardware upcycling part is the other second like critical step where we really need to be efficient. So we're using as many industry standard components as possible, so we can really scale this with our smartness, with like the Coca-Cola model, to local battery streams globally. And what this does to our customers is that we can actually be price parity with these batteries already today. And then our batteries they're counted as zero carbon. So we're saving 100 kilograms of carbon dioxide per kilowatt hour. And then we also have the European infra, and we're building European controlled batteries, which is very important for many of our customers that don't want to build Chinese infrastructure and like backdoor cybersecurity. So we're building that into it, and what also makes us a very trustworthy partner.